Every year we participate in this program with all of the other states where we recognize the total number of people that have been killed in a work zone, and that's 700, over 700 people in 2015, which is the most recent data that we've collected in our system. And then there were 5 that were killed here in Louisiana. So all across the country there's a national campaign to remind folks to be safe, particularly when you get into the summer seasons when you're likely to see more construction zones. Welcome. My name is Sean Wilson. I'm the Secretary for the Department of Transportation and Development, and we're excited to have you join us here on the steps of the Capitol today. Governor Edwards, as previous governors has done and as he's done last year, designated April 3rd to the 7th as Work Zone Safety Awareness Week in the state of Louisiana. And this year's theme is that work zone safety is in your hands. It reminds drivers to always be cautious and alert when driving through a work zone in their everyday commutes. And I tell folks, I just told the members of the committee that we all have offices that have nice windows that overlook things and desks that we might run into. But for the 4,200 people that work for the Department of Transportation and for all of the men and women in uniform, their office every day could be the roadside. It could be standing on a bridge without anything protecting them from your vehicle. So that's why we're here today. And it's not just the men and women in uniform and DOTD staff, it's also the private industry partners that we have that are working in our construction zones, helping us build the products that everyone so desires. Joining me today are our safety partners in our Destination Zero initiative. We have with us Wes Bollinger, who is a principal partner of the Department of Transportation. He is the Division Administrator for Federal Highway Administration. We have Colonel Kevin Reeves with the Louisiana State Police, and Dwayne Grant, who's the Executive Staff Officer for the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission. We're all here today with one very common goal, and that is to stress the importance of driver safety, especially while working and traveling through work zones. We believe this effort will help reduce the number of injuries and fatalities that occur on the Louisiana highways. And for your safety and the safety of loved ones and the many construction workers, we're asking all of the traveling public to please pay attention and use caution when traveling through a work zone. What we've done this year, as we have in the past, on our DOTD headquarters front lawn, there is a memorial. And that memorial is comprising of over 700 cones, each representing a life that was lost in a work zone in 2015. This is an increase over 2014, where there were 669 fatalities nationwide. And there's a bit of good news, being that fatalities in Louisiana work zones have decreased in that same time frame. In 2014 there were 13, and in 2015 there are 5. And during this week, as I sit at my desk and look out my window, you see cones that are here today that have a shadow of Louisiana to represent the individual in Louisiana that was killed, and I'm excited that there are only 5 cones today. In addition to work zone fatalities, the data gathered is the most recent for which we have available from our Federal Fatality Analysis Report System. What we find troubling is that each of those fatalities and injuries were absolutely preventable. So I will tell you and suggest to you that when you drive through work zones, we ask all of our drivers to stay alert and give full attention to the roadway, pay close attention to signs and flaggers that you may encounter, and most of all, obey the posted speed limits. Avoid tailgating in construction zones, and do not ever drink and drive in construction zones or not. We ask that you always wear your seatbelt, and most importantly, put down the cell phone. Through our Destination Zero Deaths initiatives and the strong partnerships we formed, there's several speakers here today. And so with that said, let me invite my principal partner, Mr. Wes Bollinger, our Division Administrator from Federal Highways, to come and address the attendance today.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson, for inviting me to speak this afternoon and for your continuing commitment on highway safety in Louisiana. Reducing congestion and crashes in work zones is a priority for the Federal Highway Administration here in Louisiana as well as across the country. National Work Zone Awareness Week is traditionally observed in the spring of each year to mark the beginning of the nation's highway construction season. However, thanks to Louisiana's mild winters, road construction can be performed nearly year-round. Therefore, work zone safety is a concern throughout the entire year. The 2017 National Work Zone Awareness theme is Work Zone Safety is in your hands. I can proudly say that the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development has gone beyond minimum requirements for temporary traffic control in work zones by creating standards for contractors to follow while moving traffic through road construction. Contractors and our state officials have done their part to ensure public safety in work zones. Now it's time for drivers to do their part. Be alert, slow down, and take work zone safety into your own hands. With the Federal Highway Administration, support the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development in their efforts to ensure safety and mobility in Louisiana's work zones and to reach their goal of destination zero deaths on Louisiana highways. Thank you. Colonel Reed.
Next, we have our partner who is new to this position, but not new to state police. He's the new colonel of our state police, Mr. Kevin Reeves.
Thank you. It's an honor for the Louisiana State Police to be a member of this partnership. Work zones are a common sight for those who travel across the state as we work to improve our infrastructure. While most people view work zones as an inconvenience, it is essential to the growth of Louisiana. Work zones can also be very dangerous for construction workers as well as the motorists that travel through these work zones. It's very close to the Louisiana State Police as we remember in 1998, Trooper Hung Lee, who was killed while working a construction zone in Tangipahoa Parish. In 2016, we had 1,349 total work zone crashes. 6 of them were fatal, resulting in 8 fatalities, and also resulted in 603 injuries from work zone crashes. State Police continues to work hand in hand with the Department of Transportation and Development on construction sites around the state, and safety is always our first priority. Troopers will remain proactive in and around work zones through enforcement. Troopers also work closely with construction crews to provide early warning for motorists traveling in them and guide them through these work zones. Troopers promote work zone safety through educational safety message and also at meetings and school functions that we attend. A few things the public can do to ensure safety in work zones. Always drive sober. Avoid all distractions. As he said before, please put that cell phone down. Buckle up, slow down, and pay close attention to the detours and other construction signage. Remember, many of the workers in these construction zones are working inches away from vehicles that are traveling through them. The Louisiana State Police continues to work with our public safety partners around the state, including DOTD, on the Strategic Highway Safety Plan. This plan is a comprehensive, multidisciplinary approach to reducing motor vehicle fatalities and injuries on Louisiana highways. Thank you very much.
So, as you heard, we do the engineering. The colonel and his folks help us do the enforcement. And the next speaker, Dwayne Grant, will talk about the Highway Safety Commission as they help us on the educational side of making sure our roads are safe. Dwayne?
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. My name is Dwayne Grant. I'm here speaking on behalf of Dr. Katero Williams, the Executive Director of the Highway Safety Commission. Roadway safety is paramount to our mission at Louisiana Highway Safety Commission, which is ultimately to change behaviors and save lives. As roadway safety kicks into high gear, we're asking all Louisianans to pay close attention to these work zones. We're also asking them to basically simply just slow down and be mindful of the road workers on the highway. We're thankful to the Department of Transportation and Development for joining in this efforts of keeping our roadways safe. And we're also asking all Louisianians to remain keenly focused on our goal, which is to destination zero, because the loss of one life is one life too many. Thank you.
All right, so in closing, I will tell you, over the past several years, motor vehicle fatalities in Louisiana have dropped from 993 in 2007 to 752 in 2015. Serious injuries have been reduced also from 15,830 to 14,070. There have been increases in fatalities and injuries since 2014. In the previous year, there were 740 fatalities and 13,447 injuries. This tells us there's still a lot of work to do. At DOTD, we're constantly working to improve and enhance our roadways through safety initiatives such as the installation of centerline rumble strips, adding roundabouts at the appropriate intersections, and cable median barriers, as well as repairing guardrails. In addition, we have a road safety assessment program to determine if any existing safety-related needs along a specific route can be identified with opportunities for lower cost safety enhancements to those needs. This is all very encouraging, and we have a long way to go. And it's no secret that there's been a huge discussion about investing in state infrastructure here in Louisiana, and it's important that the traveling public understand that safety is a part of that. There's so much more that we can do to make our roads safer, not just in terms of building big infrastructure, but it's also about doing a better job of managing what we have right now on our system. And that's a commitment that I've made, and that's a commitment that the governor's made to ensure that our citizens can travel where they want to, when they want to, and do so efficiently and safely. To learn more about highway safety plans and how the speakers you see here today can work with you to reduce the number of fatalities on Louisiana's roadways, we invite you to visit Destination Zero Death's website, www.destinationzerodeaths.com. I'd like to thank all of you for being here and encourage each of you to, when you get back to your cars, put your phone down, put your seatbelt on, and have a safe and within the speed limit trip home. So thank you all for joining us.
I think it's a great thing. I think awareness is how it starts, in education, and hopefully we don't get to the point where it's enforcement. If we can have the public do their part, we're going to do our part to make it as safe as we can.
You know, just this week we had a DOTD employee who helped an individual who was driving a fuel truck drive off of the Chaffalay Basin. That employee of mine was able to go down and break a window and cut that person out of the vehicle, not even knowing if there was fuel in the back of that tank. Saved a life perhaps, and maybe many, many more, and protected the infrastructure. That to me is what we do. If you exaggerate that, or if you look at that in a construction zone, how much more damaging could that have been? Further down I-10, we have a group of people anywhere from 20 to 30 in a construction zone working. That 18-wheeler had driven off in that construction zone. Instead of having that one potential death, we had 30 potential deaths. And so as we look to build new infrastructure, if you look at the demands on our system, we're going to have, if we're successful in our revenue efforts, many, many more construction zones. And we want our workers to have any opportunity they can to get back home safely and have a non-reportable incident in those construction zones.
If people have questions like more information, what should they do?
They should go to destinationzerodeaths.com. They can go to the DOTD website or go to the National Highway Traffic Safety website, NHTSA, and learn about different educational programs that can get into schools, different community programs that can advise them on how they might work in their community to help them become safer.